What's up guys? We are back for another edition of Haan's Romanian Test Kitchen, where I'm cooking Romanian recipes that I have never tried to cook before. Today we're doing a simple one, but one that I'm really excited to do, and that's Tocanita de ciuperci, which is basically a mushroom stew. I've done many variations of mushroom stew, but this particular one I'm trying to recreate is one that I had when I was in high school visiting my family in Transylvania. Eating that stew at one of my auntie's house with freshly foraged mushrooms is one of my core Romanian food memories. So today I'm going to try to recreate it and see if I can cook this stew as well as my aunties. So to start, I'm going to get my mushrooms ready. I've got about 1 kilo of mixed mushrooms. I'm just going to chop them down into bite-sized pieces. And now I'm going to just get a bunch of my vegetables ready. So I got 1 red onion here, medium size, and we're just going to roughly dice this, guys. The next veggie up is 2 red peppers. And same thing, just a rustic dice. I'm gonna de-seed it and chop this up. And then we're gonna cut a few cloves of garlic. I've got 3 cloves of garlic here, just finely sliced. You don't need to worry about mincing them. It's all gonna break down. And the last veggie component of our sort of vegetable base to the stew is gonna be fresh tomatoes. They're gonna break down very easily themselves, and I like to have little chunks in there, so we don't need to break them down too much. Now, what I remember very well about this stew is that the base was cooked in butter. A generous amount, probably about 4 tablespoons, we'll start. And to this, I'm gonna add our onions first. We'll season as we go, so a little bit of salt with the onions, and we'll come back to these once they're nice and soft and taking on some lovely golden brown color. So our onions have been simmering away in this lovely butter, and that's really what we wanna do. Concentrating flavors, intensifying flavors. That's what's really gonna make this stew delicious. And now it's time to add our red peppers and our garlic. We're gonna season it with a little bit of salt like we do at every step. And we're gonna cook this down until the peppers are nice and soft. So our peppers are nice and soft. I'm gonna add some aromatics and a little bit of wine. Again, just building layers of flavor to this stew. Good quality sweet Hungarian paprika, about 1 tablespoon I'm gonna add. Just toast that very quickly in the butter. I'm gonna toss in a bay leaf and about 1 cup of white wine. And I'm gonna reduce this white wine until there's basically nothing left. Our wine is beautifully reduced. It's reduced about 75%. And so the last thing we're gonna add for this flavor base is our tomatoes that we already cut. With a good pinch of seasoning, we're gonna cook these tomatoes until they're nice and reduced and jammy. I know it's tedious to cook things down over and over again, but that's how you get a really, really intense, lovely tasting stew. So don't skimp on the steps. So you can see now that the tomatoes have cooked down nice and jammy and thick. We've really concentrated the flavor of those tomatoes. We are ready for our mushrooms. And I'm just gonna toss them in. These mushrooms are gonna need a really generous amount of salt. We're gonna stir these into the pot. So the mushroom stew right now looks super dry, right? But that's actually how we want it, because with the addition of the salt and the heat, it's gonna start drawing out all the moisture of these mushrooms, and it's gonna start making its own sauce. So once that moisture is drawn out, we're gonna simmer it, cook those mushrooms, reduce that liquid again until we have the consistency we want, which is gonna be like a thick stew-like consistency. So our lovely stew has been cooking for about 15-20 minutes. The mushrooms released so much liquid that it sort of became soupy. And we reduced it again until it's got to this lovely stew consistency again. At this stage, I'm just gonna chop up some parsley, toss it in there. A nice bunch of flat leaf parsley. Use like half of it for this recipe. Toss that in our stew. And then it's time to try it out. Look at that. That looks pretty delicious. This absolutely has to go with some Mamaliga or polenta. At the very least, you've got to eat it with some good crusty bread. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just giving it a taste test, so don't judge me, all right? So here we go. It's really good. It is really, really good. The key to this dish, for sure, is doing all those steps properly before we added the mushrooms, caramelizing the onions, cooking down the peppers, reducing the tomatoes. It just adds so much depth of flavor to this dish. Why I think this recipe resonated with me for so long is that it wasn't very heavy in dairy. Got the sweetness from the peppers, the acidity from the tomatoes and the wine. And of course, the mushrooms themselves just taste delicious. Wouldn't really change anything about it. I think it came out exactly as I hoped. Yeah, Tocanita de ciuperci is a pass. Give it a go.